air, or better known as oxygen, is essential to life. So much for humans as it is for animals. And this is where pollution comes into play, or more specifically, air pollution, as it's one of the biggest growing epidemics or problems that we're having here within the United States and also worldwide. And this is something that pertains to us because we all have only one Earth and we need to do everything we can to conserve it and protect it. So, if we do nothing about this problem now, future generations will suffer the consequences of our actions and have a unhealthier life. The need for a more eco-friendlier lifestyle is more prevalent than ever because of all the air pollution and all the health issues that come with that. So this evening I'll be talking to you first about how big of a problem air pollution has become. Second, what are some of the solutions, or what are the some of the solutions that we can take to prevent the spread of air pollution. And finally, how you and future generations will benefit of these changes. So to begin, we're going to talk about how air pollution became this big of a problem. And air pollution is one of the major contributors of effects in our health, such as asthma, lung disease, heart disease, and brain disease. And air, for example, has become a huge problem now. According to Jay Unison from the American Journal of Respiratory Critical Care Medicine 2014, he says that traffic-derived air pollution is associated with cardiorespiratory disease and is a major contributor to greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, just to name a few. And these gases can have a lifespan from anywhere from 10 to 100 years. So there alone we can see the effect that they can have and the destruction that they can have in our ecosystem and also in our health. An article published by the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, titled Inventory of U.S. Greenhouse Gases, Emissions and Sinks, April 2018, explains in detail what these gases are and how they occur within our lives. And the first one we're going to talk about is carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide occurs when we burn fossil fuels, waste, and wood products. The second one would be methane. And methane is emitted during the production of transportation of coal and natural gases and oil. And the last one is nitrous oxide. It's emitted during agricultural and industrial activities. So here alone we can see how these gases that are emitted through our daily lifestyle can hurt our health and also our ecosystem. Another point I'd also like to point out is an article from Z Chen, Chronic Effects of Air Pollution on Respiratory Health in Southern California Children. Findings from the Southern California Children's Health Study 2015. And this is very interesting, and it says that children are highly immune to the effects of air pollution. And this is majorly due to the rapidly growing lungs that they're having and their very weak immune system. Since they're still children, they're not adults, they're very prone to many diseases. And as a result of that, they suffer increased chance of asthma, bronchitis, wheezing, and defects of lung function and airway inflammation. So we see how much this can affect not just adults and our environment, but the future to come, which is the children. So now you may be asking yourself, well, what are some solutions, or what are some ways or some things that we can do to help prevent the spread of air pollution? And some solutions we can take to contribute of the decline of air pollution is that we can do some of the following things that the EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency, has told us to do. And some of them are found in this article called Household Carbon Footprint Calculator of 2017. And here they recommend for us to limit our consumption of coal, natural gas, and oil. And some of the ways that we can do that is by limiting the amount of time that we use our boiler, our stoves, our ovens, as all these things use natural resources, which are oil and gas. Also, another thing we can do is to look for alternative sources of power, such as solar power, which is very common and very prevalent now. Also, when we use our cars and trucks, we can limit the amount of time that we use it. And especially now here in New York City, where it's a big and busy city, a lot of the time, we are sitting in traffic and the car is left idling. And when we leave it idling, this is where the consumption, the unnecessary consumption of these fossil fuels burns, and as a result, it affects our health, it affects the ecosystem, and as we said before, it affects children. And a way to combat all of that is by using, here in New York City, we have the MTA, mass transportation. We can use that as an alternative, or we can use biking, which now the city has offered a lot of streets and a lot of areas where bikes can travel safely. Also, another thing that can help us limit our carbon footprint is the use of recycling. And that is very important because, as you know, if we don't recycle and we just throw everything in the trash, then the power plants or the plants where they recycle these and these where we throw our landfill or our waste, they have to use now machineries, and these machineries often use fossil fuels. When they gotta use those machines, they emit a lot of harmful gases like carbon dioxide that can affect our health and our ecosystem. And another thing too, that the EPA website, they have a lot of different types of calculators that can help us calculate the amount necessary to use of oil, of gas, whichever. It could be pertaining to a car or pertaining to our house. So now, with that in mind, you must be thinking wow, this is something very important. And it really is, because if you take these steps now, our future will be able to strive and will succeed without having to worry about problems such as air pollution. And also, children will be able to live more healthier, longer lives as a result of our help that we're giving them right now. Also, if we do nothing now and we act like if everything is fine, if nothing's happening, then we will suffer the consequences in the near future. And also our future, which is, as we saw, the children, they will grow up unhealthy and also suffer from these consequences. And when that time comes, it will be too late to do anything, right? Because everything is going to be absolutely destroyed, and it will be too late to do action. So, as you can see, air pollution is a real problem, and it's not something to take lightly. It's something to really pay attention to and take the appropriate measures to prevent or help prevent the spread of air pollution. So today or tonight, I've told you all about how air pollution has become this huge problem, how or what are the solutions to this problem, and finally, how will this affect us in a positive manner in the future. So next time you decide to use any type of appliance, vehicle, machinery, ask yourself, is it really worth it? Is it really worth using it at the expense of our environment and our future? And remember that every bit that you can contribute goes a long way. It can help us, and that will help us have a more healthier and brighter future. Thank you. My name is Carlos.